Hi guys, it's me, Vic, and this is a video response to Ed's question, what does Gundam mean to you? Now before I answer that, I'd like to share a not-so-brief history about how Gundam came into my life. So it all started 11 years ago, in Qingdao, China. I was approaching my 5th birthday. We were visiting our grandparents, my mom's parents anyway. We were in Jusco, a Japanese department store, doing some birthday shopping. So we were at the toy section's entrance when I saw this shelf full of 1 to 144 scale Zolowats. Now back then I was really into Power Rangers and I thought it looked like one of those Megazords, only cooler. So I begged my mom to buy me one of those and she happily obliged because they were on sale probably. Anyway, I was expecting a figure. So I was really confused when we got back home and I realized, what is this? So I asked my mom, and she explained to me that it was a model kit, and how I was supposed to take the parts out and build them according to the instructions. So I did that, completely by hand, like no tools or anything. Now, I was still really happy with it, because at the time, the only toys I actually had were like some stuffed animals, and some Power Rangers figures. And it had way better posability than those Power Rangers figures, and I thought they looked cool. Well, it looked cooler than those. So yeah, I played with it a lot, to the point where I don't know, the joints were all loose, and right now all I have left of it is like a foot and an arm. So I would forget about what Gundams were until, say, like 2005. When we were visiting my dad in Guangzhou. So my mom found this Bandai store in a mall in Guangzhou called T Mall, or was it Grandview Mall? Anyway, one of the two. So she called me and my dad over, and we found out that they were having a sale on MSIAs from the Destiny series. So my dad bought me 3 of them: the Sword Impulse, the Strike Freedom, and the Destiny, because as a kid, as a 8-year-old or 9-year-old kid, I thought those designs looked awesome. And once we got back to his place, I opened them up and discovered, whoa, they have so many weapons and whatnot. I played with them a lot, and the joints are now loose. Once again. And then I realized, wait a second, I think I've had something similar to these things before. Then I remembered my Zolowat, which I thought was still the V Gundam. So I wondered, why do these look so different from that V Gundam? I didn't get my answer until a few years later. Anyway, so me and my mom went back to America, and then about 3 years later, some things happened that I don't want to say, and I was transferred to my grandparents' place in Guangzhou. Now, the thing is, my grandma specifically, she's not exactly the best example of a human being in the world. That's all I'll say. I know it's not nice, but it's the truth. For the last couple of months in 2007, I was pretty depressed, living 24/7 with a person who had a fierce temper and a very twisted sense of logic. So when 2008 rolled around, I was transferred into the Guangzhou Nanhu International School because my Chinese was too poor. Once there, I met a friend named Ricky Zhang who was really into Gundam models. So when his birthday rolled around, and when my mom was visiting, we went to a Jusco in Guangzhou and bought 2 high-grade 00s because they were hosting a sale where you could buy a Gundam model and get one of equal or lesser value for free. So I brought them to his house, gave one of them to him as a birthday present, and he offered to teach me how to build these things. And at the time, I had forgotten about Gundam, how to build Gundam models. I hadn't built one in so long and whatnot. So I said, sure, why not? So he did. So we spent the afternoon of his birthday at his house, just snapping together our high-grade 00s. And once we were done, we were just playing with them, having mock battles. It was really fun. And I thought, whoa, these are better than toys. Then I remembered, oh yeah, I've built one of these before. Only, I don't think it was as good as this one. So yeah, he told me about how Gundam was an anime and such, and I said, I'll check that out sometime later. So, the year after that, I went back to America finally, and I started watching Gundam 00. So after I finished watching Gundam 00, I felt compelled to at least get a model kit of the high-grade Exia, because when watching that, I felt that was my favorite design in Gundam 00, because I loved swords and I loved the sleek look of the Exia. So one day I randomly did a YouTube search for Exia, and I discovered a review of the R2 version by Robert184. And through what I can describe as a wiki walk on YouTube, I subscribed to a bunch of Gundam reviewers. So yeah, I ended up watching many more Gundam animes after that, and I ended up discovering several hobby stores near me that sold Gundam models, including Hobbytown USA and Too Cool, which is a local anime store. As my collection of Gundams increased, I felt that I wanted to do reviews on my Gundam model kits. So I did. Starting in the winter of 2011, I posted my first terrible review of the high-grade Universal Century Jesta, which I kind of want to redo soon, just to do the kit some justice. Anyway, the rest is history. So Gundam has basically been with me for the vast majority of my life, even though I had no idea what it was for the vast majority of my life. Like, I'm approaching my 16th birthday right now, so it's been with me for about 3/4 of my life. And it started off as my gateway hobby into building toys, like Legos and Bionicles and whatnot. And when it came back in the form of emotional support during a difficult time for me. So during that difficult time, I was really happy when I built the high-grade 00, because it was an afternoon where I bonded with a friend, and that really meant something to me. I don't know, it was a memory that stuck in my mind. It always cheers me up when I think about it, and whenever I'm sad nowadays, I would just either improve on a previous model, like one of my older model kits, or just snap a new one. Either way, I end up feeling a lot better than I did beforehand. So yeah, Gundam is basically emotional support to me. I know it sounds cheesy and melodramatic, but that's what it is. It's a hobby and emotional support to me at the same time. So that concludes my video response, and I'll see you next time.